What's up, everyone? I am Wink, and this is Scream Cheese. Today, we are talking about The Strangers, Chapter 1, directed by Renny Harlin and starring Madeleine Petsch and Ryan Brown. After their car breaks down in an eerie small town, a young couple is forced to spend the night in a remote cabin. Panic ensues as they are terrorized by three masked strangers who strike with no mercy and seemingly no motive. Kills didn't check this one out. He'll be back on the next review. Also, before we get started, if you enjoy horror as much as I do, I would invite you to subscribe to the channel. We could really use your support. So first off, I've seen the trailer for this film so many times, and that was kind of rough because I had this theory that potentially the trailer was just going to be like the teaser, that the movie would be about more people or different people, but that's not the case. What you see in the trailer is what happens in the movie. And the only real problem with that is the fact that you see enough of the story in the trailer that you're kind of waiting for the point at which it becomes unfamiliar. You kind of get the entire first act from the trailer. It's actually a pretty good presentation of that. It's just not very tense. And the tension is kind of what the whole movie is about. So yeah, once we do get into kind of the back half of the film and everything that happened in the trailer has kind of transpired, then you're left with kind of one setup to the next setup where they're trying to escape or trying to figure out what to do next or try to figure out what's going on. I would say it's very expertly done. The film looks great, the acting is great, the scenes are very tense, but they don't offer a whole lot. We have literally seen this movie millions of times. And in fact, I would say, man, I don't remember The First Strangers that well, but I would say this is pretty much just that movie, if I remember it well enough. So not only would I say we've seen this movie before, we've actually seen it before in the same now franchise. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. I think that there's obviously an appetite for it. People love the first one. I haven't actually seen the second one. I don't know how that was received, but you can tell that people were ready to show up for this one. I feel like new audiences maybe are going to get more out of this than people who have seen the other entries or a lot of horror movies like this. There's really not a whole lot that's unique about it. And in fact, because it is The Strangers, you kind of feel like you know where this thing is going. The real value in the story comes down to probably the last scene of the movie and the interaction between the characters there. I feel like that's the point at which it's the most disturbing and the most real, but throughout it almost feels like a caricature of itself. We're gonna have the bad guys like showing up in the background and being where they're not supposed to be, and yeah, that's really creepy and it's really offensive that there's people in your space, but I just don't know how scary that actually is, at least presented this way, where it's got the corporate sheen. There's nothing really messy or dirty or different. It's all just very paint by numbers. It's very beautifully produced, and it's very much the same movie we've seen many times before. So yeah, those are just my thoughts about the film. I would give this movie a 6.9. I struggle to give it a 7 or beyond, even though it is a pretty well-made film. I would like to give it less. It is just a pretty well-made film. I am a little bit concerned that this is a series that is going to continue on and we're just going to get the same movie over and over and over. But for me, I liked it. I didn't love it. There is nothing that is keeping my brain occupied in these films except for the compelling nature of there's bad guys in the house. We got to get away from them. We got to try to escape. Yeah, it is like your basest instincts of like survival kind of come into play here, and that is compelling. It just doesn't feel compelling enough. It's not intellectually stimulating. It's like popcorn horror, but it's good popcorn horror. All right, folks. Well, let me know what you thought of The Strangers. Also, let us know of any other horror movies that you think we need to check out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time. Peace out, cheesers.